Was there, Democratic Congressman Suha Subramaniam of Virginia. I thank you for stepping out to talk to us. Can you tell us, was there something so far that you would want people to know about? Give us a sense of what's happening inside that room.
Sure. The Republicans have been questioning Secretary Clinton for almost an hour now. I've heard a lot about her work on clean water. I've heard a lot about her work on combating human trafficking and her desire to actually see all the Epstein files released. What I haven't heard is that any association with Jeffrey Epstein. She says she doesn't remember ever meeting him before. She only knew Ghislaine Maxwell through a mutual friend, didn't know her very well. Other than Ghislaine Maxwell being a guest at the wedding, she didn't really know or talk to her in any way. I mean, I think it's just been an embarrassment for Republicans so far.
That's pretty much what she suggested in the statement, which she released of her opening statement. So describe what it's been like. Has it been respectful? Has it been combative? Tell us a little bit about those exchanges.
I think Secretary Clinton is puzzled as to why she's here and answering questions. I think she's held her own, though. Frankly, we're about to go question her, and I'm trying to figure out what else to ask her because she very clearly doesn't know much about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. What's very interesting is that there's at least 10 Republicans on the committee here today. None of them, there were 0 Republicans in Ohio to question Les Wexner, who was intimately engaged with Jeffrey Epstein for many, many years. And so that just shows the seriousness of Republicans on this committee and their investigation. Right now, it's very disappointing that they've tried to be so partisan to date, but I hope that they will have the same sort of energy when we actually talk to Republicans who are involved with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell or people who are intimately engaged with them and in their crimes.
Well, we mentioned earlier that there are about 700 plus times that she's mentioned in the Epstein files, but the vast majority of those are just mentions in newspaper articles and really have nothing to do with any direct knowledge she has. She said she's never met him, as you point out. So what are they asking her? And are the Republicans pressing her on something in particular?
They're pressing her a lot on the Clinton Global Initiative. I think they're trying to imply that she knew that Epstein and Maxwell were engaged in fundraising for it and that she was working closely with them during that time. The reality is she was a U.S. Senator at the time and was not involved in the creation of the Clinton Global Initiative. And so she was not engaged with them at all. And so it makes sense that she never really met Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell and has no knowledge of working with them.
Republican Chair James Comer said before the deposition that Republicans are not being unfair to the Clintons. Here's part of what he said.
The Democrats voted to subpoena the Clintons. The Democrats voted with the Republicans to hold the Clintons in contempt. So the Democrats have just as many questions for the Clintons as the Republicans. So this isn't a partisan witch hunt. This was a motion, a bipartisan motion supported by the Democrats to bring the Clintons in.
Supported by 3 Democrats, just to be clear, but does he have a point?
Well, we want to talk to the Clintons. Certainly Bill Clinton tomorrow. We're going to talk to him about his appearance in the files, as well as the Clinton Global Initiative and other aspects where he may have been engaged with Epstein and Maxwell. We'll talk to anyone who had any association, regardless of whether they're a Democrat or Republican. I'll just say, though, that Secretary Clinton doesn't have much information for us.
Hillary Clinton today, Bill Clinton tomorrow. But of course, I don't have to tell you, they're hardly the only high-profile people named in those files. I know you've said you're willing to travel to the UK to interview former Prince Andrew. Do you think the chances are good at all that realistically that could happen? Or are there other high-profile people who are at the top of your list who you think could really get to the heart of what this investigation is supposed to be about?
Certainly, I'd love to talk to the former Prince Andrew. I'd like for Howard Lutnick to come to our committee and testify. And, Chairman Comer said today that he'd be open to that. So I'd like to see that happen. I'd also like to see Donald Trump talk to our committee because he's in the files far more than anyone else. And it seems clear that the Department of Justice is covering up for Donald Trump as well as others. But certainly, I'd like to see the president come before our committee because we have the former president tomorrow. So they've already started this precedent.
Congressman Suha Subramaniam, I know you have to get back in, but we thank you for stepping out to talk.
Nobody is getting held accountable. I mean, in the UK, they have taken Peter Mendelsohn in the custody. He's actually arrested. A lot of things are happening also in Norway, but nothing is happening in the States. These are all theatrics. I do not know what Democrats are doing. I mean, you need to charge some people. You need to arrest some people. But yeah, of course, with the FBI under, a cash pedal and Pam Bondi being the AG, nothing is going to happen. So these are all going to be theatrics for a very long time. Subscribe for more videos.